Hey everybody, welcome to the Sanctum. This is AL. Today we're going to talk about the Witch's Tarot deck. I got a small version specifically because it's a handheld, it's a little bit easier to work with. It's by Ellen Dugan. She's actually well known. There we go. For writing a lot of pagan books out there, and if you haven't read her stuff, you really want to go pick some up. I highly recommend her. She is one of my favorites. So that'd be something to do to take a look at. The other reason why I got this particular smaller version, which doesn't you can get the PDF guidebook for it, which I actually liked, which is kind of nice because I can carry it with me wherever I go versus having to carry all the stuff. And it is, since it is based off the tarot, there is 78 cards in here, and I wanted to show it a little bit to you. It is a little unique since it does use more of a pagan feel to it. I love the back anyway, which is just gorgeous. These are thinner, by the way, so they are a little bit more flimsier. But at the same time, too, for those of you who like to riffle shuffle, like moi, it is nice. So, as you can see, the cards are quite paganistic, chivalric in its setting. So I wanted to showcase to you how it looks. The Two of Pentacles is actually probably one of my favorites right now. Temperance and Six of Wands, and I like it too because this, even though it does give you more of a paganistic feel, there is still a sense of the RWS to it as well. Six of Cups, although it doesn't give you as deep a detail as of some of the meanings, the Hanged Man, as some other ones do. Five of Cups. Some of them do capture the essence of the meaning of the cards right off the bat. So, which is really nice. The cards are quite a bit medieval in thought and appeal. I wish it was a little bit more inclusive. Diverse. They're not as diverse as I would wish at all, only because of the fact that this is something that actually Benabel One was brought up in a recent video. There is some diversity in them, like the Page of Pentacles, but it's not throughout as often as I would like. Very few actually, yet at the same time too, most people do according to what they like or what they're used to. Now, that being said, I'm known for using pretty much things that appeal to me. In fact, I have an Orisha deck coming, which I am excited for. I actually learned about the Orishas from a friend of mine who is well trained in them, and so for me to get this deck is actually the most exciting thing in ages. It's an ongoing joke with me and her, that I teach her stuff she doesn't know, she teaches me stuff I don't know, and we go from there. Now, this review is fairly short. This deck, I'm actually going to bring out the next deck too, so you're going to actually get two reviews in one. But the big thing about this deck, like I said, it is smaller for the hands, so it's easier to take with you everywhere, which I like. It is RWS style, so it's not like you're fussing or wussing with anything. So for a lot of people, for that alone, I would say it's perfect. So, like for this, you've got the Ace of Cups, which is all about emotions, about new emotion coming your way. The Five of Pentacles, which I love that look, that whole aloneness, abandonment kind of feel. You have the Two of Pentacles, which is you're trying to balancing things out right now. And you have temperance, which is all about being moderate, basically balancing between water and land, finding your middle ground. And this actually works in harmony with everything that you're seeing right now. So when you're looking at a reading like this, one of the things that I've always picked up on is the overall harmony or disharmony, because when it comes to a reading, one of the things I haven't heard a lot about is how harmonic cards work together in the process, or how disharmonic. When disharmony happens, the cards don't resonate with each other, but they produce a disharmonic sound, which tells you not only is there issues involved, but they also tell you in a way that their disharmony is producing a harmonic sound that needs to be taken care of. And you can usually tell where or when. So one of the things that you see is the fact that the balancing act that you're doing is causing you some trouble. So that's one of the reasons why temperance comes up, is you haven't found that middle ground. You haven't found your balance. So you are juggling. You know, the finite, the infinite symbol is saying, well, you know, infinitely, you're always going to try to figure out a balance. Sometimes things will be up and down. However, for you personally, you're trying to struggle with money and different things that you're trying to do to make things better. Yet at the same time too, you're also trying to figure out what can you do to make things easier and better for you. And then you have things like the Five of Pentacles, which talks about this barrenness, this loneliness. And you realize that with the Two of Pentacles, this is one of the extremes. Now, in moderation, we know that occasionally it's good to be alone. It's good to have that distance. But then we have the Ace of Cups, which is talking about that overflowing abundance of emotion, of having the abundance of fulfillment. And so we know that this is the other extreme, the other portion of the Two of Pentacles, the other part of that moderation. So we go from emptiness to filled. We know that this is something that can happen quickly at any time, getting overwhelmed by emotion, getting the love of your life coming into your life, things of that nature. And so that's one of the things about this. These cards are actually all in harmony of one another. So I wanted to talk about that because for me, and I have friends who recently have found out that I do tarot, do readings. It's not like I've ever hid it, but I guess they just finally kind of clicked into it. And they could be a little doubtful, which I don't mind. Doubt is how it is. Skeptical. And I encourage skepticism to a point, not because I want to prove to them that they're wrong, but because having a skeptical nature means that you don't take things in such a way where you go looking for stuff to meet your criteria. It means that when it does happen, or things do happen in such a way, you realize that, well, things are happening, they are coming. Just as she said, yeah, she said that there may be things that may be a little bit outside the track, but overall, you know, she's like 90% accurate. And she said she would never be 100% accurate on this. And she was right. But damn, okay. So what happens next? Ooh, wait a minute. Now I'm talking about Jay's show. And that's part and parcel of one of the things that with my friends who are skeptical, that that have come to me and have had readings recently, is they have learned that I welcome the skepticism, because to me it's good to look at things in a light of what could go wrong. What is the disharmony in it? Because the disharmony are the things that you say, well, she was talking about this and this didn't happen like it. It actually happened this way. Well, yeah, you know, I gave an outside error, but the outside error was, this is what I'm seeing. Oh, it happened faster than that. Well, that's actually a good thing. Be grateful. It could have been worse. Am I wrong? Yeah. cool. I'm glad to have been wrong on it. I told that to a friend of mine, and he was like, wait a minute, you're happy you were wrong on that? I said, yeah, waiting 4 days for that answer would have been killer for you. You got it right away. It was better than you expected. Why wouldn't I be happy about that? And it took them back because that was not the response they were expecting. They were expecting me to be, trying to justify that, about my being off. But then all the other stuff I was talking about started coming to pass. And now they're kind of in the, you're kind of scary. Yes, I get that a lot. It's okay. So with this deck, one of the things I found out, and I do actually like working with it, but I do find that the flimsiness is probably going to keep me off of this deck a little bit. It'll probably be used for special readings, like if I'm doing it at a party, or for private stuff. But I do love the fact that this is such a small version of the original deck. It is really easy to take with me. It's really like about 280 GSM. And I really wish it was a little bit less flimsy. If it was less flimsy, I probably would be putting it into regular rotation. Like the Simple Tarot, which, oh my God, I am so addicted to it. It is ridiculous. So now that I've shown you this deck, I'm going to show you another deck. Now, I'm going to tell you something about this deck. I have been eyeing this deck for probably about a year or so. I finally had a chance to get the small version of it. And I wanted the small version because lately, I don't know, I probably have told you all before, I have arthritis. So sometimes holding big cards hurts my hands. So sometimes having the smaller decks work fantastic. So I did get the Shadowscape Tarot. And I have always loved the pictures for this deck. And for the record, the backs of this deck is absolutely fabulous, okay? I'm talking about, I am in love with the back of this deck. Now, the bad thing about having this smaller deck is that the pictures are smaller, so I don't get to see the pictures as well. However, like this is the Queen of Swords. So as you can see, they are a little bit more tiny, a little less intent, but the pictures are so freaking beautiful. You almost want to have them in big print just for the pictures themselves. King Wands. I mean, they're really gorgeous. And they're such a beautiful drawing because they're so different than most. The Ace of Swords. I still think this is probably one of my favorite pictures of the whole deck. So one of the things that this deck too is actually very flimsy in the sense that it's super bendable and basically creasable. Same stock. Yet, I absolutely adore the way that this deck is created. Like the Queen of Cups. This is the Three of Swords. Now, out of all the Three of Swords that I have seen, this one absolutely blows my heart up. It was actually one of the first cards I pulled when I pulled the deck out. And I started to cry. And I have to tell you this in context. I was actually having a minute with my Anamkara, my heartmate. And we weren't fighting or anything like that. We actually really rarely fight or argue or anything. We were just having a really intense time because we had some things going on that we were just dealing with. My life is about ready to be sent into massive upheaval in a good way. and I had some intense personal crap come up, and we kind of got into it a little bit. One, because he's protective. And I don't want any of you guys out there to think badly about my Anamkara. He is actually very, very protective of me. More so than I am of myself. And I need you guys to give him credit for that, because he is more likely to protect me than I am to protect me. So he deserves all the goodies in the world for that. And when I got the deck, he and I were in the middle of intense disagreement because something had happened and I was trying to pull away from him, and it was my fault. I'm gonna be totally honest. And that was the first card I pulled, and it was literally because my heart was breaking, because I was being stupid, but I did not see a way out. Because what was happening was to the fact I did not see a way of solving my problem that did not involve trying to protect him and other members of my chosen family, to protect them from one of my blood members, my blood family. And he wouldn't allow it. And I am lucky for that, because he was right. And if he's watching this video and he's hearing this, then he knows that I'm admitting this to everybody. So he needs to just stop the little preening and just be who he is. And, well, no, that's part of his ego. He just needs to stop. But yeah, so this card is pretty important to me, and it really kind of solidifies that idea of heartbreak on that level. Now, one of the other nice things about these decks is the fact that, like the cups with it signifying water, the wands with the earth, and it's just the beauty in these cards are amazing. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about how this Shadowscape deck works. It is a little bit deeper of a deck. The riffle shuffling on this deck is amazing, by the way. I will not probably use this deck often. I mean, yes, it's carryable and I can just grab and take it anywhere, which is probably what will happen to it in time. But I'm also so protective of this deck, it is probably not going to be that deck. Except for, like, if I'm going somewhere, or if I know I'm going to, like, a friend's house or something, I'll probably bring it and my Simple Tarot. But this is a deck definitely for heart work, for solitary work, and if you're working on shadow stuff. This is one that, just like the Gaia Tarot that I have, it is more for internal work that you're doing. So one of the things that I wanted to show, so I'm going to pull a couple cards here for us for a reading, is that this deck is amazing. One with the shades of coloring. It is, the color itself guides you emotional wise of what you're looking at, but it's also a fact of the pictures give you a outline, because one of the things is they're not super intricately drawn. We're not talking like in the sense of like it is like the most deepest levels of like a Leonardo painting or something, but they're so wispy delicate. They're so, it reminds me a lot of the pillow books and of some of the classical Chinese illustrations, that they're every touch looks like it's a delicate piece of art that can float away on you. And yet the impact is so intense, it is so deep, it imprints upon you. And I think that's one of the reasons why this deck is going to only be the way it is for me, because that impact is so big. So let's talk about what we have here. And we have the Two of Wands, the World, the Chariot, the Six of Cups, and the Page of Cups. Intriguing, actually. So normally I tell you exactly what we're looking for our reading, and I didn't do it with the last deck, and I'm not going to do it with this one. And because it's just a general reading, that's the part of the reason why I don't have a planned idea for this, which is what normally I do going into these readings for when we do a review. Now, I would tell you that if it was me, I would probably get a bigger deck, the bigger version of this deck, which is what I'll probably end up getting. But I did want the smaller decks to work with for a while. Now, when we talk about the Three of Wands, I want you to take a really good close look at this card. Look at that. We're looking at the idea of looking out with those wands, looking out into the distance and seeing things, our intellect being opened, looking at that aspect. We're looking at the Chariot. And now we know the Chariot is always about being pulled, being able to be balanced, being able to go forth with energy, and knowing that we can go the distance. So we know that our intellect is being pulled forward. We're going into a distance to being able to get things finished and get things done. We have the Page of Cups. Page of Cups is an initiator card. It's about emotions. Our emotions are being initiated. We are looking to get things done. We are looking to set ourselves forward into a forward motion. And notice that she's looking to the right. So we're looking in the right path, in the right manner to get things done. What are we looking to do? Well, we look at the Six of Cups here. Oh, I actually like that picture. That's cute. And Six of Cups is all about friends, our childhood. We're looking at our childhood for inspiration and to look in a manner of what things were good, what things were bad, what do we need to rid ourselves of, what do we need to ground ourselves with. And that brings us to the center, which is the World, which is actually a good final card. It is probably my favorite card of all the majors because it is absolutely freaking gorgeous. It is truly a gift. It is as above, so below. It is the world as we hold it in the sky with the moon as the world above. That glimmer of beauty and of hope. So we know that as we go through opening our mind, opening our intellect, we race forward to what we need to accomplish. We are looking at both our past as to our future. We know that the world is before us, that we can accomplish whatever we put our mind to, but we have to make sure that we are actually moving in a forward direction, not allowing ourselves to be stopped because of small itty-bitty things. So yeah, that's what the Shadowscape Tarot does for you. Makes you look more internally than it does externally in a lot of ways. So that's these two decks. I do have a borderless Rider-Waite-Smith deck we're going to look at for review later. I left it at work actually. One of the reasons why I haven't had any new videos up lately, I have been working really hard on a couple of books for I've been editing and getting ready for myself to put out. So that's one of the big things you haven't seen me for. I've been trying to get those things done. Like I said, my life is getting ready to be majorly disrupted, so I've been trying to get that put together. And I say disrupted, and disrupted is not a bad thing. Disrupted as in like, my life is going to change a full 180 degrees from what it is now. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm nervous. But one of the things I always tell you and I've been telling you guys about since last year, is change. Change is coming. Change is going to be big. And yeah. For my personal path, change has hit hard. Change came and knocked me on my ass. Change came by way of my Anamkara. And I'm going for it. I'm going to take the hand of my Anamkara, and I'm embracing change in a way I've only done a few times in my life. And I'm starting over. And I am cool with it. I don't like being bored. Anybody who knows me knows this. But the things in my life that work, such as my tarot, such as my aromatherapy, my writing, being who I am, being true to who I am, is part and parcel of that process. And he honors that. And he's given me a chance for an opportunity to be that person. So yeah, I'm going to take that opportunity and run. And maybe I'll convince him to come and talk with me on a video one day, once everything is all said and done with. Until next time, Bendithian.